It's Saturday, June the 15th, 2024. And you can see I actually got the mower on the tractor. I brought out a lot of the equipment from the edges and mowed around the edges of the apiary. I actually mowed down the rows of hives and between them, and I wasn't even so much as wearing sunglasses, let alone a veil. I didn't get stung. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? And there's quite a few bees here still. So that was really nice. I was just kind of testing that to see if I could actually do it. So I'm over here at the edge of the apiary. A week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I was working bees and I found a couple of cells. They looked like supersedure cells. They looked really nice. They didn't look like emergency cells and not swarm cells, I'm pretty sure. So I put them in a little nuke over here on the side. And I'm going to check that real time here with you today and see what happened there. And today I actually have a visitor. Jordan is here. Hi, Jordan.
Hello. I'm not as brave as Brad. I will be wearing a veil,
Well,
and
I will be pretty soon too. But there's a lot of traffic here. We can see we're right over next to the zombies here, and there's a lot of flight today. There's a lot of flight. A little bit breezy, but I think it's 25 degrees or something right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm feeling hot.
It's warm. Yeah, I don't know how he wears that jacket. So I'm gonna tip this camera down and we'll look at this nuke and we'll see if we got a laying queen. Okay, so this is real time. You get to see us celebrate or cry a little bit if they didn't end up mating. So this is really populous.
Yeah, they've really filled out their frames by the looks of it.
Now these pro nukes has that little raised part there, and I find that, and it does its job really well, but I find if I just flip that end of that ear over it, it makes
A whole lot easier.
It makes it much easier to move that frame.
No smoke today either?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah. So this is really heavy. Okay, but it looks like, so that's, you know what, I think they're getting a little bit of nectar flow from somewhere. I really do. I wonder if this is drift. I didn't put this many bees in this thing. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I wonder if it's drift because it's right at the end of the zombies. Maybe some of the zombies have been drifting this way.
Maybe the wind's blowing them too far and they can't make it back.
Well, they get confused, like I was mentioning, right?
Yeah.
They often end up in the wrong hive. Because we didn't make it this strong, did we?
I don't remember it being this strong, yeah.
Okay, so this, I think this is one of our cells.
Okay.
Sometimes if you can catch them before the bees destroy them, by the way the cell looks, you could see it emerged. So you see this little can opener end? That one emerged normally. So I'm going to tell the story here. This one emerged normally. She went over and stung this queen through the side of the side of the cell there. And I'm not seeing any laying in here. So it's not good news yet. We got 3 more frames to look at.
Like, is there a chance she's still out on her mating flight, or unlikely?
It's hard to know because I don't know the timing. I don't know when that cell emerged. By the look of them, they've been emerged for a while. What I'm watching for, though, is sealed brood, because they did have some sealed brood. If they don't have any sealed brood left, see, they have a little bit of sealed brood there. Wow, are they ever packing this out? Wow. I've got my sunglasses on too, which is, almost looks like there was another cell there at one point. I'm not sure if it was this time around. So use your young eyes, Jordan, and see if you can see in these cells here. Is there anything in those? These are big cells, so they probably wouldn't have anything in them anyway.
Yeah, I don't see any of them too much. They look shiny with nectar though.
It's nectar, yeah.
But There's still some hope left. So we
Well,
got two left here.
yeah, these are all heavy though.
Uh,
They're just packing this out. So
ooh,
this
yeah,
one
there
did.
has some caps still.
This one didn't work out. That's okay. What we can do is I will risk a zombie, and we'll take this hive and we will just merge it with. I can probably merge this with. Take this and distribute it amongst 4 zombies,
Okay.
just to boost their numbers. So we'll just take out. There's going to be an empty frame in each one of these zombies for sure. This one actually looks like one of the stronger ones. If I can see the queen, I'll put the newbies farthest away from, just to protect her a bit. It's a good experiment. You know, I was going through all that bother the other day to merge nukes. So this will be a good experiment to see if the zombie queen survives okay or not. But where is she? Go through that one, Jordan, and see if you can find a queen in that green one. If we can find a queen, we'll put it in there. Of course, I've got your hive tool, don't I? Look at that one, could really use a boost, couldn't it? That one's quite a ways behind. Here you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh man, so many bees. It's just ridiculous how many bees are in this nuke at the end.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Okay, you got a little bit of sealed brood on this side. Oh. This bee just stung me in the shoulder.
Ah, I see it.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm just gonna place this frame on the ground here.
Yeah. Oh boy. These bees, there's too many bees. They just keep falling off of this frame every time I...
This frame, these frames are looking a little empty here.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's feeling heavy though. Maybe some. I think I see some.
Well, they should be laying, but we'll just try to find the queen
Oh, okay.
in those. Oh, there's the queen. Look at that big pink dot.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
But this one is actually in pretty good shape. It doesn't really need much of a boost. I think she's running out of juice though. These domed cappings. I think she's running out of sperm.
Oh, okay.
She's firing blanks some of the time.
What do you do in that scenario then? Do you kind of get rid of her then?
Get rid of her. She's done.
Yeah.
She is done at that point. I had one, what was it, yesterday? Day before yesterday.
The hive tool there.
Was doing that, and I just had to get rid of her. Okay, I'm gonna slide a frame of bees in here. Oh goodness. Look at this box. It's kind of ridiculous.
That is. I wasn't expecting them to be like.
Just put that right in there. Boy, there she is.
Oh, you see her?
She's not marked, she's a big blonde one. So let us insulate her a bit. Get a nice healthy, you want the hive tool there? Yeah, get a nice healthy frame of bees out of there. That one looks good. Careful of the wind.
Take it in here?
Don't put it the whole thing in
Oh,
there.
just put the whole thing in there?
Yep,
Okay.
put the whole thing in there. All right. And I'll give you that one as a return.
Oh, put it on the ground too, Brad? Or put it back?
That's fine. Yeah, put it on the ground. It'll give you a place to work that hive before we're done. Okay, so we'll leave that one alone. You've got a few bees. This one doesn't really need. There's the queen there. You see her? No.
Oh, good eye.
Yeah, saw her right away.
Boom. Okay, do you want another healthy frame?
Yeah, nice big frame. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, just slide her right in there.
Oh, there.
Okay. Oh! Lots of bees there. Okay, we'll see if we can find the queen and get a frame in this one.
So, like, are none of these queens marked, or is it kind of hard to say? Like, some of them might
Yeah,
be.
some.
Okay.
Yeah, some. I'm not sure how many. She's just definitely laying. She's got a nice frame of brood going there.
This one looks busy too. It's nice.
Mm-hmm. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. I'm not sure what happened to that last video. It just kind of ended, but there wasn't much more to see. We just dispersed those bees into the other zombie nukes. So yesterday, for the most part, I spent on a road again. I just had to go over to Dancing Bee and get a few things. And I made an equipment delivery to a customer. So it was really nice to make that sale. I really appreciate that. Very nice customer. Of course, you get talking bees and have a good time, right? So that used up the day. And on my way, I got a message from another beekeeper who's part of our association. He's a what I guess would be called a hobby beekeeper, but he's got quite a few colonies, so he's not a 2 or 3 colony operation. I don't know what he said, 30 or 40 or something. Anyway, he was a really nice guy. He was making some splits this spring and ordering things out and getting his apiary all set up. And he messaged me and said, "Hey, I got 5 nukes here I want to give to you." So I think 2 of them, he said, had cells, had emergency or super seizure cells or something in them. So they may or may not work out, but there's 5 of them. And so we got together during my travels. We met, and I took those nukes and sat them in the apiary. They're just still sitting in the pro nuke, so I'll show you those later on. Now, as crazy messy as my honey house looks, they said it was going to rain all day. It rained a lot last night. The place is a swamp again. And so I thought, you know what, I got a little job I have to do indoors, so why don't I do that job indoors today, just to get that out of the way. It's a job that has to be done before honey flow, and I'll show you what that is. Last winter, when I was really not allowed to work for over a month, I did set up, my wife helped me set up a station, and I built a whole bunch of frames. I don't know, I built a couple hundred, 250 or something like that. But I got building these medium frames, but instead of building the medium frames with foundation, I actually built them with a little piece of wood that I just tapped that in there. There's nothing holding it in there but friction, but it's really tight, so I don't know you'd take it out without just breaking it in pieces. This is for comb honey. So I built 100, I built 100 of these for comb honey. And what I think I'll do is I'll just run a bit of beeswax along that starter strip just to kind of get the bees, build comb here, build it nice and straight right here, to hopefully guide them enough that they do a nice job. Because if they get too crazy, then you can't use the comb honey. So I've got 100 of them here. I've got some deeps down below too, but I've got 100 of these mediums. So gotta gotta wax all these now. So I've got my skillet set up here and my waxing station. I'm using a new foam roller today. This will work great. I know I've done a lot of work with foam roller. My only complaint with foam roller really is that before long, the glue that holds the foam to the plastic insert here disintegrates, and then the foam starts sliding off. So you can't hold it like that ever. You have to always hold it so that the foam doesn't slide off. It's not a big deal, but you know, there's always a downside to everything, right? I noticed that microfiber nap roller doesn't have that problem, but if you look back on my video I made about waxing frames, you'll see the problem that it does have. There was a suggestion, instead of using cardboard here, which this wax really sticks to the cardboard, is to put a piece of parchment down here, because the wax doesn't stick to the parchment. And I'm going to try that, but I didn't bring any with me today, so we'll just go with cardboard for now. I'm not sure if I can get that big chunk off of there or not. You can bet if I do, there's going to be cardboard in it. Okay, so the skillet's getting full. We'll get that little foam roller in there. And I don't want to get a lot of wax on this. All I want is just a little bead along that piece of wood. That's all I want. You can hardly see it there, but I just want it on the edge of that piece of wood, just to give the bees a bit of a guide to say, hey, this is where you should start making wax, making comb, so that I can come and steal it from you later on. I find these mediums work really nice for comb honey. A lot of times people make comb honey and you buy kits and stuff to make comb honey, and they have you put in a piece of thin foundation. They call it surplus foundation. I don't know why they call it surplus, but it doesn't matter. That's what they call it. But then you've got a piece of manufactured foundation in the middle of your comb. Got a little too much on that one. See, it got on the top bar there. That's not really what I'm going for. So I find that these medium frames make really great comb honey frames. Yeah, I'm getting too much. You can't use deeps just the way they are, because the deep is deep enough that the comb will collapse once they fill it with honey. I learned that the hard way. I learned a lot of stuff the hard way, and that's why I share, so that maybe I can save you some grief. I do run some deeps for comb, but I put a stick in the middle to make two sections. That works great. I find that it's not as efficient as a medium, because the two sections then aren't very tall. With the medium, this makes a perfect section. I can cut, I think, 5 of my sections out of a medium. And that's really great, because 5, that allows me to get $75 potential revenue out of one medium frame. Boy, you can't argue with that. So this job here does not use a lot of wax. Certainly doesn't use 1/10 of a pound per frame like a full deep frame wax, foundation wax. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it to all these. Shouldn't take too long. I've done the 10 now, and most of these boxes need to be re-waxed as well. So that's not vital for honey flow. I'd like to get those on a honey flow if I can get them re-waxed, but it's not vital. This I really want done, because I'd like to have a good honey comb crop this year, and that's the way I'm doing it this year. So that's how today's starting out anyway. Thanks for watching. Take care and have fun. It's Thursday, June 20, 2024. So tomorrow is the solstice. And I'll tell you, the nights here are getting so short. It didn't even get dark last night. There was light coming in the bedroom window all night. I woke up about 4 o'clock and I thought it was morning already. It was just kind of weird. I really like the long days, but it just kind of does the body kind of weird things. It's kind of thinking, okay, it's time to wake up. No, it's not. It's 4 o'clock. And, you know, which begs the question, 4 o'clock is that odd time, right? Is 4 o'clock late or is 4 o'clock early? I guess it's all a matter of perspective, right? So it's a beautiful, beautiful day here. It's well above 20 degrees C, and we've got honey flow going on. I had a friend over yesterday who I just asked her to come and do some varroa samples for me, and so I worked in the apiary while she did the samples, and I got the numbers back, and I think they look really good. Just good for me, not good for the varroa. So she was lifting some of these doubles off and saying, boy, these are heavy, they need boxes. So this is what I need to do here today. I've got a selection of boxes and stuff, and I'm gonna be a little bit fussy here when I put these on, and I'll tell you why as I'm doing that. There's 3 new occupants in the apiary here today. So she had three nukes for sale, and I had enough money left from the donations to buy 2, and I traded her some equipment for the 3rd one, as well as paying her for her time. So the donations are now used up, and I got a lot of value out of those donations. Thank you very much to everybody who donated, and for everybody who sent positive thoughts and prayers for that to happen, because it doesn't happen in a vacuum. So those are 3 mediums, and her name is Laura. She actually started beekeeping a year after I did, and I'm kind of technically her mentor, but she's way smarter than I am. And so what she did, she's not a real big person, and she said, you know what, I don't want to handle deeps. So she started her beekeeping, and she transitioned all right over to completely into mediums. So she runs medium brood chambers. So these nukes that I have here, it's 5 medium frames in the center, and then flanked by 5 deeps that I added. So it's a little different. I've run those before. They're fine. The bees will just draw the comb down off the medium and then put drones in there. So when they do, what I'll do with these is, because I won't want to run those mediums long term in my apiary, then when it's time for honey super, I'll pull those mediums out, I'll move them into the honey super above a queen excluder, and then all the brood will emerge. They will backfill that with honey. It'll end up in the honey house, and I get to see every frame. I get to handle every frame in the honey house. So when these mediums come by, I'll extract them, I'll set them in a box, and I'll take them back to Laura, because I don't, as a rule, run mediums. I'm going to break that rule here today, but I'll explain why. So I got to get the smoker going. I don't expect too much issue, but there's a few colonies that I do want to check on, so I think I should be prepared. These are the 5. I need to transfer these, but there's a couple with cells. So these are the 5 that a fella gave me these last Monday. So that was very much appreciated. Boy, the apiary's filling right up. That's really nice. So I've got my wagon just off camera here, and the wagon is heading toward here. This is where that colony that appeared, and it's still a little bit of a mystery. It looks like a swarm, but the timing was not right for a swarm, so I don't really know what happened there. All right, let's get to work. I have a decision to make with some of these colonies, and I have a half-baked plan in my mind, and that's kind of my problem. Is I'm thinking I want to begin to winter some colonies outside to get more practice at that. I've done it 1 season. It worked out well for me. I didn't lose any colonies that year. But so I want to winter some outside, and I think I want to run some doubles outside, and I want to run some singles outside, maybe even a double and a half, or a single and a half, a deep and a medium, just to kind of get accustomed to how that all goes. And the problem is, I don't know how many I want to do, and I don't know which ones I want to do. So I have to figure out which ones I think I should winter outdoors, and how many I should winter outdoors. So I have to think about that, and I might be doing some of that prep here as we go. So it's just one of those things. I'm going to work through this yard sequentially. As my home yard is, it's usually all over the place. Usually when I set an out yard, it'll be a group of colonies that are kind of all the same and all the same place and doing well. I don't have to worry about them too much. This is the backyard sort of thing. And so this is where all of the problem children live. They're not all problem children. It's just that if anything's a little weird, it's going to sit here. Okay, so this is a nuke that I got from a fella this spring. Yikes. The wood ticks are terrible. It looks like they're doing really well. I want to do a quick check on them. And I think I'm going to put a second. However, it's either going to be a second brood chamber or be a second honey super. I haven't decided yet, and that decision goes on what I talked about a minute ago. Do I want this one to ultimately be a double or not? So they're actually still a little bit small. I didn't put them in here really all that long ago. And I can see that they do have a nectar source. Honey flow is on. They're not filling the outside of that frame yet. That solar wax mounter is working great. I'm putting a lot of my scrapings in it. Okay, so same thing. There's some nectar. They're filling out with nectar. I'm going to take my sunglasses off so I can more easily see eggs and brood. Yeah, see, that's quite a bit of nectar in that one. If I put a double on this, I can take these nectar frames and move them up, because that's genuine honey right there. And I can put empty brood frames in the bottom for them to work on. They'll move that nectar up anyway. Could save them a little bit of effort is all. So that's kind of an empty frame. There's not really anything going on. It almost looks like sometimes you may notice the bees clearing a space for the queen, and they'll clear off a nice portion, and there won't be anything in it. There won't be any laying in it. See, this is a bit of an issue here. We have a great big fat queen cell right here. So that may explain the lack of brood, the lack of laying, but there's milk brood here. I see milk brood in here. So why is there a big fat queen cell there? I don't want to drop that in case I want to use that cell. When I say use that cell, I mostly mean let it play out. Just clean these end bars. They get built up and then the frames don't fit in as well. I put that patty in. I have to look back at the video. It was about a week ago. Looks like they enjoyed that. If I can find a queen, that would be really great. I've been doing good at finding queens this year. I think it's my new eyes. Which is odd, because my new eyes, I have really good distance vision. But when I get about arm's length, it starts to get a little less clear. It's just old man disease. Yeah, so I'd love to see that queen. First hive I get into is a problem. Beekeeping is a lot like woodworking. It's problem solving. They're both problem solving exercises. See, that cell is really ripe. So if it's an emergency, it doesn't look like an emergency cell though. Yeah, there was a laying queen here 3-4 days ago. Some pollen pants there, that's good. Free bee feed is always great. So what do I do with that? There's that big queen cell. Where was it? I think on this one. I let it go. Yeah, it's right there. Get my patented Mike Berry brood revealer. It's called a flashlight. Really, really helps. There's very young brood here. Way too young for that to be an emergency cell, because you look at this cell, it's quite mature. I would expect that to emerge within 2-3 days. So that's a supersedure cell. Okay, well, what do we do? I am tempted to let this one rock and roll. I'm kind of tired of fixing mistakes or fixing problems. I'll let this rock and roll, and they can sort it out. Since I didn't see a queen, maybe, but I was going to say maybe the queen just died, but that cell was started 2 weeks ago. So I'll just get my marking pen, and I'll leave an instruction for myself for about 10 days down the road. 20th today, so it's the 30th. So here's my notation. Check queen, July 30. Okay. And I don't stick to that 100%. You know, it's just kind of when I'm working in the bee yard and I notice these marks, if it's the 28th or 29th, you know, and it may be the 2nd or 3rd of July, then I'll see that. And it's just a reminder that that needs to be done. Okay, this is one of the 3 remaining colonies from my 175 last year's colonies. They look pretty good. I mean, they're into a second, right? So, boy, I had Laura sample these survivors because I have not treated these. They were treated the same as everything else last year, and I have not treated them since. I did a wash on this one in April. It was a 1%. And she did a wash on it again yesterday. She washed a 0.3%, so it's 1 mite in 300 bees is what she washed. You can draw whatever conclusions you want from that. I'm not drawing any conclusions from it, but I'm pleased with that. I'm just wondering if, because these bees survived what I think was a year of bees dying from mites and viruses, have these bees been able to hold their own. They haven't been treated. There she, here I'm bucking around and there's the queen sitting right there. Oops. Okay, let's not hurt that queen. She looks like she might be very special. So this is a very dry box. Yeah, it's dry right to the middle. So queen is, she hasn't even laid. She might have laid over there, but I'm not gonna bother. And it's, I think I just added that because it is completely light. And they've totally gone through that patty I gave them. Pollen and sealed brood. Well, there's another queen right there at the bottom of that frame. Wow, she moves fast. But maybe there are two of them. But this, see, the thing is, I haven't seen any laying yet. Hope she's laying. I wouldn't mind pulling the graft off of these survivors. There's some plump larvae there, but I haven't seen anything very young yet. I'm no VSH guru, but is this kind of the thing if the mites grow? You get these brood patterns that are kind of spotty. I mean, really, that looks, you know, it looks bad. You don't want a spotty brood pattern. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any laying. It worries me. Oh dear. You mean my beautiful queen has run out? She's still there. She's just not doing anything. There's some larvae there that I estimated about 5-6 days old. I gave them that patty. They ate that like crazy. Usually patty consumption goes along with brood production. They're not brooding, they don't eat the patty. Maybe I need to check the rest of that upper box. It's a beautiful day to work bees. This is as nice as it's been for me this year. Okay, so here's a ring of open brood here. I'm still not seeing eggs. If there's open brood on this side here, maybe it's mirrored in the top box. That's just a wacky frame. Okay, Queenie, I think you need to get with the program. I don't want you to fail now. You've come so far. You're among the 2%. Okay, so let's finish looking at this side. Yeah, there's nothing in here. I can see from here. These frames are empty. So that queen is on vacation. Oh boy. Just when you think you have a good thing going, you know, queen peters out on you. Well, so, okay, so there's, all right, very young larva. This is all laid up. I don't know that I'm seeing eggs though. I'm gonna give that a little shake. Get a better look at it. Lots of cups here. Are they coming to the same conclusion I am and they're gonna make themselves a new one? Should we take her out, help them along with that? Okay, I wish you could see this. I'm certain I can't show it to you though, because it's actually quite pretty. All the way through here. It's perfect. Okay. Well, She's got something going on, but I didn't see any eggs. Hopefully she sorts that out. Okay, I'm gonna mark my last. So that was 1, and that was 0.3. So that's good. The mite load has gone. The phoretic mite load. Now, here's a principle though that could explain this. The brood, the amount of brood in this colony has been increasing. This mite wash only counts phoretics. So what that may mean is just that there's more brood, so the mites are hidden. I think that was the only one that had Api tablet last winter. So Ray Oliveira's carniolan. It's not ready for another box. I don't think so. Usually you can just crack it and give it a lift. It's not very heavy. I'd like to see if she's laying in it. Doesn't look like it. It's kind of weird. That's a heavy feed frame. I put that in here when I made the split. I've eaten some of it. Another one beside it. But they've eaten some of it, but they've also put nectar back in there. They have a little bit of a flow. I think it's just clover and random wildflowers. You can't even see it. The landscape is green. It's lush, but it's green. It's not like I'm looking across a beautiful alfalfa field or canola field or something. A little bit of eggs on the outside there. So this is all emerged, and yet they haven't, she hasn't backfilled it with eggs. It's almost like there's a environmental condition that made her either stop laying or made the bees cannibalize everything, which kind of is, you know, the same thing. Often we might think that the queen is not laying when maybe she is, but the bees are cannibalizing everything because they can't support it. Eggs in there. I think these ray queens weren't marked, so if I can find her, I'll try to mark her. It's not building really fast, but I think that's environmental. I think there's quite a dearth. If I had more people, I would put patties on these, but it's just me. I gobbled that patty down. I can't say they're the most beautiful colony right now. Honey flow is important to me, but the most important to me is the most important thing is winter. You know, they have to be ready for winter. When did I make these splits? I made these splits. It was about the 10th of May, maybe even earlier. And that's all that's happened so far. I mean, they've really got no more brood in here than they had when I made the splits. That's just weird. And again, empty cells. What are my queens doing? Why are they not laying? That's environmental. It's got to be. Ian's been feeding the whole time, and maybe I should have been too. I relied on my feed frames, which they're not going to starve. They've got feed frames, but see, they've got some pollen stored up here. Now, I don't have my one-handed queen catcher with me, but I got my pen. Do I attempt to mark this queen? I don't know. Be very careful. We don't want to hurt her. Okay. Now the problem is, she's gonna fly away. And I gotta dump her there. Ooh, I did dump her there. She went down in there somewhere. Okay. As the very first time I marked a queen just with my fingers. I promised I'd learn that. I started marking queens a few years ago with my queen catcher. It just changed my life. I've marked queens. And then I decided I'm going to learn how to mark queens without a queen catcher. Well, I can't find my queen catcher, so forced into it, right? Make good on that promise. Okay, well, what can I say? I marked a queen and I liked it. Okay, these are two that were queenless. And they may be doomed. I think I've kind of lost track of them. I don't remember putting eggs in them. You see how they haven't finished that because they have no brood, or at least they have no laying queen to make brood to feed. I can add eggs, hopefully fix it. There's brood here, there's a younger larva. Oh, okay. I haven't been in here in a while, so I think if there's anything open, it's got to be, oh yeah. Unless that's laying worker. It's too consistent, I think. Yeah, there's sealed worker brood there. We got a queen. The note on the lid says check queen July 8th. So it's been a little while. It looks like they fixed that problem. All right. So nothing to see here, right? There's eggs. There's good looking eggs there. Yep, good looking eggs. All right, we're gonna leave this alone. I don't know what that is. If that's a replacement queen or what. It must be, because I don't believe I fixed it. That was one of those, I had those 5 nukes that I tried to put into those hives, and I don't think that worked very well, by the way. But I didn't have nukes for here. I didn't fix this problem. So I don't know if this is it's a 24 queen, but I don't know if it's a Ray Oliveira's queen, or if it's a Oliveira's / Faith Apiary's queen. Don't need that mark anymore. Let's hope this one brings the same good news. Check queen June 27th. Oh, well. It looks like, however, that one's good. This one's that much bad. It is the 20th or 21st? 20th. It's the 20th today, so I do have time. Okay, there's something. Here's a cell that appears to have emerged nicely. And the next frame has some encouraging cues. There's a nice field of sealed brood, some younger brood, and I believe I'm seeing eggs. There's another cell. There's another cell here. Oh, that's a. But those are cells in progress. That's kind of weird. Maybe they have a queen and they don't like her. Maybe that's a frame of eggs I put in here. You know, I need to keep better notes. I didn't think I put eggs in these. Maybe I did. Okay, I think that probably is. So, if I find a nice frame of eggs in my travels, I'm gonna bring it over here. Because that's a week away from when I said to check this. I think this is one of the boxes that Laura suggested putting a second on. No, that's not too bad. Let's take a look though. So they're definitely bringing nectar into that. It's nice looking. Honey flow starts slow here, but then it ramps up and hits hard. Okay, so here's a question for the viewing audience. You heard me say earlier that I think I want to winter some of these outdoors this year. And I think I have a plan as far as where to put them and how to wrap them and all that kind of thing. However, I'm on the fence with how many. I don't want to jump in 100%. And I'm on the fence with configuration. Singles, deep and a medium, or doubles. Or all three. So, how many? How many do you think I should do in that arena? Put your suggestions in the comments. And I want to remind you too, try to suggest things that you think will work for me. You know, in my context of my apiary and my workflow and my goals. Because I'm genuinely asking for your opinion on that. Lots of nectar being stored away in these. Plastic frames. I just hate plastic frames. So I don't know what's going on here. This looks like an emergency cell, but I don't think it should be. I'm gonna take that out because there's obviously a laying queen here. It's just the nature of these crappy plastic frames. Okay, looks like we need a second at least on this one. I don't know if there's anything to investigate here. It sure looks good. That's good because I haven't had a lot of good news yet today. They're definitely putting nectar in there. Good pollen stores. Nectar as well. I want to see if I left it too long and they made some swarm cells perhaps. It's a nice brood frame. Flanked with pollen. Perfect. Absolutely textbook. Got natural pollen, but they're still eating this. Which is a little weird. I think they eat it because it's full of sugar. Really. Slabs. Laying in the open cells. She's filling that out nicely. They don't look like they're considering swarming. That's a nice brood frame. It's a crappy plastic frame, but it's, wow, and they've got another one there too. They've got lots of brood here. Okay, they definitely need a second. They'll get a second brood chamber for now. And then we'll watch them. This one might be a good candidate for to be a double for the winter, huh? You tell me. I haven't run, I was going to say a lot, but I don't think I've run any story frames this year. So this one's doing well. So I'll put a story frame in it just so they can feel free to lay all the drones they want to lay. We'll put that one right in the top. Encourage them to move up in there. It's a good time to move frames into that box because this is the box. If this is going to be a single, which again I haven't decided, if it's going to be a single, then this box will be the honey super. It'll end up in the honey house, and then I can cull old frames. Like I want to get rid of these plastics. Some of these are kind of old. If I don't like the comb, if I don't like the, the fact it's a plastic or whatever, then that can go in the honey house and get culled out at that point. Okay, good. We got one graduation here. Okay, so this was 4. Where did the mites end up with number 4? 1. Most of them had 1. 0.3. Okay. So just a smattering of nectar on the outside here. And they don't usually start on the outside, so, it's going to get to be more as I work in, right? Yeah, they're filling this. I think I'm going to do a shakedown here. And then I'll put a queen excluder on this one too. Okay, this might be a bit new for some people. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get the queen in the bottom box without having to find the queen. I could sit and try and find the queen. 20 frames, that can take a while. So if I shake all the bees off, I do take a cursory look for her. But if there are no bees on the frame, then there is no queen on the frame. Kind of logical, isn't it? Right, so take a quick look for the queen. Don't see her. And this brood that's in these frames will emerge over the next, well, the sealed brood will emerge over the next 12 days. Anything open will emerge over the next 21. And the bees will backfill that with honey. And then I will take it and extract it. Doesn't much matter if I see the queen on the last one, because I'm going to shake her off anyway. Anybody have a preference as to which way up these things go? I'm sure you do. You're a beekeeper. You certainly should. So what I'm putting on here is a box with those mediums that I waxed. Remember that? And on the outside I've got drawn comb. They tend to draw, or they tend to do the comb honey more readily in the center. If I put those empties on the outside here, they'd just kind of mess it up and I'd end up crushing it anyway. Ouch! Pinched a bee and she stung me. Nectar and pollen in that. I could probably shake this one down as well. It's Friday, June the 21, 2024, otherwise known as summer solstice. You can see my bonus hive, I don't know what to call this thing, is slowly making its way to its final resting place right here. It'll be about another 2 days before I can lift it onto the stand. That's all fine. I know people tell me all about this thing, putting branches and stuff, and that's fine. I guess that works. This is super easy for me. I just have to give it a little tug every day. And even if I don't do it every day, it doesn't matter. It can sit there as long as I want to sit there. Yesterday, I was kind of chased out by weather. The weather deteriorated and it actually rained a good amount again last evening. More thunderstorms though. And instead of an all-day soaker, all-night soaker, anything like that, you can see some big ones here. Boy, for the solstice, these are getting pretty tall already. Now, I'm not saying that those are full, but they warrant it, right? There's one that's full, that one deep is full. So what I did here is I put the second deep on this one was a brood chamber. I moved that brood chamber right to the top. I put a box of wax frames there, and below that I put that box of medium comb honey frames. So hopefully that'll work. I have to check on those. I did quite a few of them, so I'll check on them in a few days. So the reason I put my brood right up high there, people talk about demeries and stuff like that. That's not what I'm doing. So you know, if you're inclined to say, well, you did it wrong, that's not what I'm doing. Really, I'm putting them up there for ease of access because I'm going to be making some splits here soon. And if I have time and energy, I'll actually make a cell builder and do some grafting, because some of these queens, as I was pointing out yesterday, that have made it through the bad mite problem, I think they might be something special to graft from. So I'd really like to get some daughters off of those. I've got to look at the end ones. Of course, the one at the end you saw last week was queenless, so there's not much to see there. But there's 2 others there that I need to check. And then do this whole row. These pro nukes here, these pro nukes, I could transfer those. That's not a huge priority, but they should be done in the next few days. There are a couple with cell cups in there. And I thought he said they were emergency cells or something, but they're actually grafting cups. I guess I misunderstood what he said. So that's cool. If they are, then I'll leave them in that box until they mate. I don't want to disturb them in that process. Oh, there's something I want to show you here behind the camera, this solar wax melter I have. Well, I'm impressed with this thing. It's really working well. I mean, free energy, right? It's free energy from the sun. So I'll show you this thing. I always meant to build one of these, but I never have. This one came up on the marketplace last summer, and I thought it was a reasonable price, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy that. So it has a nice frame. It has a prop here to hold that door up, and he built it so that it'll fit 2 layers of frames. They're hot and waxy, so there's 2 layers of frames. It seems to me that he built it specifically for rendering wax foundation frames, which I don't use wax foundation, but this I do use. These are some of my honeycomb frames, so I'm just melting these to freshen them up a bit. And so it'll hold 2 deeps, or you can see 3 mediums here. And yeah, there's not much to say, right? It's just the sun shines on it, gets it hot, and melts the wax. So you can see the comb is very, it's actually very hot. So don't touch it. Yeah, so it's melting the wax, as you would imagine, and it just comes down here into the tray. I don't do anything special for filtering here. I leave some slum just sitting in the bottom, and there's some holes. I don't know if they're 3/16 holes in this metal, in the slum, between the holes and the slum. It filters things fine. I'm not looking for like a candle grade wax. All I'm looking for is to get this wax into a puck or a slab of some kind, and then I can easily take that out and take it to the honey house. And I just put that into my skillet and wax frames and bring it back. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you that. I think, you know, the size of this thing, you could actually put a layer of queen excluders in here, metal queen excluders, and melt those out, clean them up a bit. You wouldn't want to do plastic ones because, of course, they would warp pretty bad. There's a little red squirrel around the corner playing peekaboo. So we'll let it warm up again. You can see just the time I had it open, the wax on the metal is starting to solidify. Yeah, so works great. Highly recommend one of those. Yesterday was a bit breezy. It's not breezy today, a little bit here, but it's humid because of the rain. It's only about 20 C, but it feels very hot. Of course, there's a lot of people have it way worse than that, so I can't complain too much. So these 2 here are the Randy Oliver queens, and I don't think they're going to need much because I believe I just put these seconds on not long ago. I kind of use my videos as record as to when I did things, so I can feel nectar in that frame. So obviously there's nectar and pollen there. Obviously they're working that. Nectar there. I think I'll leave them a bit. I'll just watch these. She's not laying there yet. Maybe over here. These are kind of heavy. There's more nectar. Yeah, eggs on that side. So there's eggs up through here. Well, I'll leave them with it. She'll lay up a bit of this box. And then I'll be able to come and get it and shake them down, etc. There's no need to do that now. They don't need more space. They've got space for nectar. She's got space for laying. It's all good. Well, I guess when I left yesterday and I felt like I didn't get done, I guess I actually kind of got done, because there's not much to do here, which I'm kind of glad, because it's the humidity is really getting to me. So I'm just going to clean up and go do something else. I may hide in the honey house and box frames. Who knows? Cleaning up the apiary, I decided to count my metal queen excluders. I'd like to buy enough that I don't have to use the plastic ones. The plastic ones, people hate on the plastic ones, and I don't mind the plastic ones. But I realized over a number of years, actually, it took me a while before the light bulb went on, that when I pull my honey, the plastic ones stick to the honey super a lot more than the metal ones. I can get the metal ones to drop down off the honey super onto the brood chamber better when I'm harvesting honey. So I put all my queen excluders on a pallet here. These are all plastics, so you can see I have quite a number. And I counted up how many I need to replace them all. I'm not sure I can afford to replace them all at once or not, because I need about $450 worth. They're 15 bucks a piece, these things now. But I thought I'd gather them up and bring them in the honey house, put them in the melter with some of my washing soda, and I'm going to cook these things overnight, because they have been washing a couple seasons. This one's actually one of the best ones. There's some of them kind of are nasty. So I thought, you know what, it's a perfect time. The melter's not busy right now, and I think I'm going to be waxing some frames here just to stay in out of the heat. I'm either staying in out of the cold or the rain or the heat. So I stay in a lot. So anyway, that's what's going on. You know, this melter, this one is an expensive unit, and I'm certain it's more expensive now. But I never imagined all the things I'd use it for. Boy, I do a lot of work with this melter. There's not very often that it sits cold. I bought it for extracting. I bought it as a big bottling tank, a heated bottling tank. Not bottling as much as paling, really. But man, I do everything. I render the wax, of course. You've seen I'm rendering old frames. I'm cleaning foundations. I'm cleaning frames. You name it, I'm cleaning it up in here. Is it ever a multi-purpose tool to have a vessel this size that you could heat to, you know, up to boiling? You don't want to boil it because you boil the jacket dry, but you could if you're not careful. So anyway, that's just my little pitch on this melter. So this is the brand name of this. Tony Lalonde Sales in Clavette, Saskatchewan, where I got this one. So I'll leave it at that, and thanks for watching. So tomorrow is the for social. I'm having a hard time saying that.